report, April 24th, 2025. This one is entitled, Has It Begun? With picture of India's flag crossing Pakistan's flag. So, started covering this 2 days ago. And, started off normal kind of, a little bit of conflict, terrorist attack, terrible things. I mean, judging by the response of Pakistan, they're not exactly doing things in a way that seems sensitive to just how precarious the whole situation is. So, the last I heard is that there is exchange of gunfire in the Lipa Valley. And the water has been turned off, which gives 80% of Pakistan its water. Now, if you know anything about resources and war and acts of war and why people declare war, having a treaty with someone and them turning off your water, that's kind of like we're going to go to war 101. So it's not good. In fact, it's bad. And it's getting worse. So, my suggestion is, of course, subscribing here and following what we're doing. I don't know really anyone who else in YouTube. I mean, is there anyone else really covering any of this? I don't think so. And this is getting bad. So, we're going to keep covering it, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. So, if you haven't gone here, go there, okay? Go there, because that's where things go if it gets real bad. But we're just going to keep rolling along as we are. Things are okay right now, but you never know with what they do around here. So I would like it if you would join me over there, and I would like it if you join me every night. And I'm making plans because, well, I just think it's a matter of time. So I'm making plans for this to go to there and what that would look like. And I think I have a pretty good idea of what that would look like now. So all I will say is you might want to go there. All right, so let's get started and let's get into all of this stuff. And there is a lot on India and Pakistan because it really is a big problem. It's actually kind of baffling to me that nobody else is talking about this, to be honest with you. I mean, these guys are the OG, like, where nuclear war will start kind of people. So I don't know. It's it really is surprising that it is getting such a lack of coverage. Maybe the world is just so crazy that they don't got room for it. But this is pretty nuts. And well, we're gonna do what we do here. Put it all out there for you so you guys can understand. And in a year or so, if this is out of control like Ukraine, we can look back to these videos in April of 2025 and say, oh yeah, PrepperNow did it again. He figured it out before most other people figured it out. And the only reason why is because I just go to a lot of different intel channels and I see what they're talking about because they talk about things before people talk about things. And that's all this is. It's just going to other channels, a few of them, figuring all this out and putting it out here for you in a nice amalgamated way where you can strap on the earbuds, live your life, listen to about 25, 30 minutes worth of stuff going on, and then figure out accordingly what you need to do to deal with it. So let's go through it. This is your crisis report for April 24th, 2025. China's Shenzhou, 20 astronauts blast off for space station, according to the Associated Foreign Press. Pakistan has shut down airspace for all Indian-owned and Indian-operated airlines. Pakistan declares Indian defense, air, and naval attaché persona non grata. Pakistan closes Wagah border and shuts all transit trade with India. This is just getting started. Pakistan says any attempt by India to shut the Indus River supply will be an act of war, and they have shut off the supply. So you tell me. You tell me where this is going. Pakistan says it will expel Indian diplomats, suspend all visas to Indians. Statement from Prime Minister's office added that borders would shut, trade would be canceled, and airspace closed to Indian-owned or operated airlines. Swedish jets intercept Russian plane near Poland. United States opposes harmful and dangerous anti-fossil fuel policies, according to U.S. officials. Germany expects zero GDP growth this year, but of course it blames the tariffs. Has nothing to do with their really crappy ideas and terrible leadership. Yeah, it's just the tariffs. If you know anything about economics, then you'll know that things that go on with your economy don't start 10 minutes before, they start a year before. So the tariffs were nowhere near anywhere more than 2 months ago, a month ago. So saying that it's the tariffs is basically a flat out lie. Just a flat out lie. Trump says the Democrats are fighting like hell to keep murderers and all other types of criminals solidly in the United States of America. They have gone crazy and are only getting worse. I think you know that I'm online with that one. Israel Army says initial probe shows Israeli tank fire killed UN worker in Gaza last month. United States Embassy in India issues a travel advisory for U.S. citizens for Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir. Terrorists will not be spared. Strong action will be taken against them. Punishment will be significant and stringent, which these terrorists would have never even thought about, according to Modi of India. Modi asks his citizens to fear not. The retaliation will be unimaginable. Consequences for the terrorists and their handler. Pakistani Security Cabinet. Its meeting has begun. Local Pashtun guerrilla factions in the POK have pledged their loyalty to the Pakistani army, saying they are ready to work to neutralize any threat posed by India. Indian aircraft carrier INS Vikrant has reportedly left its base in Karwar and currently deployed in the Arabian Sea amid heightened tensions with Pakistan. Tourists continue to leave Kashmir after the Pahalgam terrorist attacks. Meanwhile, India continues with its show of force in the Arabian Sea, releases visuals from INS Sarat of a sea skimming exercise using the BrahMos missile. Sea skimming is done to avoid radar detection and air defense systems. Pakistan is mulling to ban overflight access for Indian-bound commercial flights through its airspace. First visuals of the Pakistani Prime Minister chairing the Security Cabinet meeting were released. That's another one, doubler. INS Vikrant is way south, even south than Mumbai, near Kerala. It's not headed towards Pakistan. We don't really know where it was going. Pakistan suspends all trade with India in lieu of the unilateral action it took yesterday. So now they're not trading with each other. That's a bad sign. Pakistan closes its airspace for all Indian flights. Any attempt to stop or divert the flow of water belonging to Pakistan as per the Indus Water Treaty, it's a treaty, it's official, will be considered as an act of war and responded to with full force across the complete spectrum of the national power. Pakistan's statement on India water treaty being frozen. All-party meeting to brief all political parties has begun in Delhi. Pakistani soldiers have captured an Indian BSF personnel who reportedly strayed into Pakistani territory. French defense minister visit to India has been postponed. Quote, I feel now some sort of military maneuver is imminent by the Indian armed forces. In the immediate time frame, reconnaissance was very less today, which could be an indicator. Pakistan issues a NOTAM stating that its airspace is not available for Indian registered aircraft, including military aircraft. Anchor sign, the retaliation is imminent. Not quite yet. In a show of deepening military coordination, United States CENTCOM Commander General Michael E. Kurilla arrived in Tel Aviv today. His visit includes discussions with top Israeli officials with a key focus on the growing threat posed by Iran in the region. United States President Donald Trump says, I am not happy with Russia and their strikes on Kiev. Not necessary and very bad timing. Putin, stop. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done. Well, Zelensky's got to accept it. Pakistan has apprehended an Indian soldier of India's Border Security Force, Constable P.K. Singh. Indian soldier was captured on Pakistani territory by the Punjab Rangers and is currently at Pakistani military captivity. Items seized from him included a weapon, ammunition, and other equipment. Indian soldier will remain in Pakistani custody. Pakistan issues a NOTAM banning its airspace for all Indian aircraft and planes. Pakistan or airspace not available for all India registered aircraft and all aircraft operated, owned, or leased by Indian airline operators, including military flights. Unidentified drones were intercepted by Russian air defenses over the Khmeimim air base in western Syria. Clashes have erupted between India and Pakistani soldiers on the line of control or contact in Kashmir. Light and heavy weapons are used in the fighting taking place in the Lipa Valley. Observers report Indian Air Force fighter jet activity over Srinagar, Jammu, and Kashmir. 19-year-old has been charged with aggravated arson for igniting a wildfire that has now engulfed 13,000 acres in New Jersey. President Trump is reportedly preparing to sign a memorandum targeting Act Blue over concerns about possible foreign donations, aiming to enforce laws against foreign influence in U.S. elections. Zelensky claims that Russia has a ballistic missile manufacturer in North Korea during a recent attack on Ukraine. So they're saying he used a ballistic missile from North Korea. I don't know. It's possible. Soldiers over there. Washington State has passed a new law that grants $120,000 in forgivable loans, specifically for black first-time home buyers. Okay? Sounds like a good deal if you're black. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins announces that taxpayer-funded benefits will no longer be provided to criminal aliens. Hold back the tears. Indian leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi has extended its support of the Indian government over any, quote, any action in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terrorist attack. Indian nationals are strongly advised to avoid traveling to Pakistan. Those Indian nationals currently in Pakistan are also advised to return to India at the earliest. Pakistan locals are now reporting low-flying aircraft near Lahore border with India. Pakistan is considering suspending the Shimla and Tashkent agreement in retaliation to India suspending the Indus Water Treaty. Indian government has asked citizens to avoid areas near the Kupwara border area of the LOC. Pakistan has refused to return the captured Indian BSF personnel. Today in the early hours of the morning, IAF air assets carried out mock drills to test the response of PAF. Assets were active over Jammu, Kashmir, Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan. Simultaneously, PAF assets were active over Islamabad, Lahore, and Multan. Locals from both sides reported low-flying jets. However, there was no contact. Also, to clear the air, there has been no ceasefire violation. There's been no clashes, which took place last night. Well, that's kind of changing now. India will not just randomly break the ceasefire in one sector just for the fun of it and then leave it there. If it does, the ceasefire will be broken at multiple areas all at once to do with force, accompanied with other active military equipment. There has been no official word of any fight on the LOC or the IB. Indian officials confirm that there has been no contact or ceasefire violation on the LOC or the IB. Clash is broken out because Indian security forces and terrorists in Bandijapura. So here's your summary. Pakistan and India are on the brink of war. Okay. Terrorist attack in Kashmir, where at least one person was killed, more than 26 Indians and tourists, has brought relations between the two nuclear powers to the brink of full-scale war. Both countries have urged their citizens to leave the other immediately. Pakistan says it is suspending trade with India. India's prime minister says it will pursue terrorists to the end of the earth. India suspends Indus Water Treaty as tensions with Pakistan has surged. Pakistan shuts its airspace to Indian airlines. Pakistan says any attempt to stop or divert flow of water belonging to Pakistan as per Indus Water Treaty will be considered as an act of war. Trump says he is not happy with Vlad. He said, stop, 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done. Israel offers Palestinians money and value to go to, and visa, to go to EU and Malaysia. Israel offers Palestinians $5,000, housing, jobs, visas, and a salary. Leave the enclave with resettlement options in France, Greece, or Malaysia. But in return, they must give up their Palestinian identity and land and the right to return. Pakistan's defense minister, Khawaja Asif, says if our civilians are not safe, then I'm making it clear that Indian civilians will not be safe either. India has now effectively cut off the flow of water to Pakistan, depriving Pakistan of 80% of its water needs. Pakistan warned early on that this would be an act of war. And now they're saying that it has begun. Indian and Pakistani forces have clashed in the Lipa Valley base of Kashmir. Trump says Harvard anti-Semitic as funding fight heads to court. Trump says that we need Greenland for international peace. United States poised to offer Saudi Arabia an arms package worth $100 billion. U.S. airmen, someone trusted with top secret clearance and military training, has been charged in a plot to build bombs to target Jewish buildings in Pittsburgh. This isn't a rumor. This is in a federal indictment. He called himself a Hamas operative. He said his goal in life is to die a martyr and that his loyalty is to Lebanon and Palestine, not America. He joined the U.S. military not to defend this country, but to gain combat skills for use against Jews. Shame of defeat. Houthis have arrested at least 5 people on suspicion of distributing footage of a failed missile launch that hit a residential area. Extensive U.S. military strikes were reported tonight in Sana'a and Mada. Ukrainian civilians killed, 63 wounded in the Russian attacks against Kiev with ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and suicide drones. John Fetterman told the Washington Free Beacon that Trump administration should end nuclear talks with Iran and launch strikes on its facilities. Waste that ish, he said. You're never going to be able to negotiate with that kind of regime. Now we have an incredible window. We strike and destroy Iran's nuclear facilities. Syria's president said he is willing to join the Abraham Accords under the right condition. Cool. Pakistan's harsh response to India's steps following the attack on Kashmir. Pakistan government announced that any move by India to stop the sharing of the waters of the Indus River, as New Delhi has threatened, will be considered an act of war. Pakistan announced the removal of Indian military advisors from Istanbul. The suspension of all trade with India, including through the other countries, and a Indian airlines from flying over Pakistan area. Pakistan announced retaliatory diplomatic measures against India. Minister Shahbaz Sharif has announced the following. Airspace is closed to all Indian-operated airlines. Wagah border crossing will shut down, whatever. Wagah border crossing will shut down, ceremonial duties suspended. Pakistan suspends all SAARC visas issued to Indian nationals, and all Indians currently in Pakistan with an SAARC visa are instructed to leave within 48 hours. Number of diplomats at the Indian High Commission in Islamabad will be reduced to 30, and military attaches have been declared persona non grata. Pakistan exercises the right to temporarily suspend all bilateral agreements with India, including the 1972 Simla Agreement. Pakistan states that any attempt as diverting the waters from rivers in the Indus will have to be seen as an act of war and will be responded to by force. In the last 24 hours, U.S. regime military jets have conducted 30 airstrikes, including locations in Sana'a. Details of these attacks are as follows. Sana'a, 6 airstrikes, 13 attacks in the north of the city. Sana'a, 6 strikes in the Brush area, 3 airstrikes in Jabal Nakam, Al Jarraf neighborhood east of As a result of the U.S. attack on Al Jarraf neighborhood, several residential buildings were destroyed and 1 civilian was injured. Air India is in talks with Boeing to acquire the 10 planes rejected by Jenner buyers earlier, this amid trade war and all that goes along with that. And then there's this. New in response to India's move on the Indus Water Treaty, Pakistan may suspend both the Shimla and Tashkent declarations. What are they, you ask? Well, Shimla suspension means the LOC becomes void, opening the door for unilateral actions in the Indian-held Kashmir. Tashkent exit removes the pledge to avoid meddling in each other's affairs. Friends, that is your crisis report for April 24th, 2025. Hit the like button if you like what we're doing here. Check out the links in the description. Join us elsewhere. But we're going to keep the intel flowing. Okay? So keep listening and reading and doing all the things. Because, just, it's important. It's never been more important. This is some big stuff going on. So, all right, friends, hit that like button and stuff. Join us. Subscribe, Star Locals, Twitter X, Mine, Gabs. And then, of course, here. Love to have you. And we will see you on the next one. God bless. PrepperNow, Crisis Report out.